Welcome to Daily Joy, where every movie is a story waiting to be relived. Today's movie name is In Time and been made in 2011. Be aware that this video contains spoilers, so proceed with caution. By 2169, genetic engineering has made it possible for people to stop getting older at age 25. A clock implanted in people's forearms shows living time, which can be shared between people through body touch. As soon as that clock strikes 0, one dies. People from different social classes live in different places, which are called time zones. People who are poor live in the ghettos of Dayton, which are mostly populated by young people. They have to work every day to make a few more hours of life, which they have to use to pay for basic needs since people replaced money as time. Rich people live in New Greenwich, which is mostly made up of middle-aged and older people who look young because they stopped getting older at 25. Will Salas, played by Justin Timberlake, is 28 years old and works in a factory. He lives in the ghettos with his mother Rachel, played by Olivia Wilde. Will one day stops 105-year-old Henry Hamilton from being robbed of his time in a bar. Fortis attacks Hamilton. Fortis is the old British mobster boss of a group of middle-aged men called the Minutemen. Will saves Hamilton, who tells him, "Many must die so that a few may live forever." This is because there is plenty of time for everyone to live a full life, but it is saved up for the wealthy to live forever. Will is angry and says that no one should die before their time is up. Hamilton tells him that he no longer wants to live and says, "Your mind can be spent, even if your body is not. We'd like to die. We need to do it." Hamilton says that the rich keep the poor from having children by taking advantage of the time zone system and by rising taxes and prices. If they didn't, where would you put them? Later that same night, Hamilton gives Will 116 years, but only gives himself 5 minutes, which he uses to go sit on a bridge over a canal. Hamilton falls into the water below as his time runs out. Will gets there too late to save him. The timekeepers, the local police team, have different ideas about how he died. A young timekeeper named Yeager thinks that Hamilton has timed out, which means he has killed himself. But a middle-aged experienced timekeeper named Raymond Leon, Cillian Murphy, is sure that Hamilton was killed by a person from Dayton. Will goes to see Burrell and gives him 10 years of time, one for every year they've been friends. When Will gets to the bus stop to meet his mother, she doesn't have time to pay for her regular ride because the price went up all of a sudden. She tries to find someone who can lend her time because she has to go on a 2-hour walk, but no one can. She runs in a panic, watching her life slip away with minutes to go. Will also follows his mom's bus route to find her. When they meet on foot, she runs and jumps into his arms, but her time is up and she dies. Will chooses to get even because he remembers what Hamilton said about how unfair the time system is. He goes to New Greenwich with more than 100 years left on his watch. In order to keep poor people from crossing into their time zones, the rich make sure that those poor people never do. He goes into a casino when he gets there and meets Philippe Weiss, an old rich businessman who lends money for events, and his daughter Sylvia, Amanda Seyfried. Will's arrival in Greenwich caught Sylvia's attention, and she became even more interested when she saw him beat her father at poker almost the whole time. Will is invited to a party at her dad's house. Will is caught at the house by Leon, who takes all of his time except for 2 hours. So Will can get away, he holds Sylvia hostage. As he drives back to the slums with her, he runs into Fortis, who is upset that Will lost all of Hamilton's time while he was unconscious and steals most of Sylvia's. He doesn't get the last half hour though, because timekeepers are coming up behind him and forcing him to leave. Will wakes up and tells Sylvia that they can go back to his old neighborhood with some of his leftover time. First, they go to see Burrell to get back some time that Will had given him earlier. When they get there, they learn from Burrell's sad wife Greta that he killed himself by drinking too much with 9 years left on his clock. Sylvia gives her jewelry away for just 2 days' worth of money. After finding a place to stay, Will calls Weiss and demands a 1,000-year ransom for Sylvia, which will be given to the people in the slum. From Will's phone call, Leon figures out where he is and goes after him in Dayton. Will finds out that Weiss did not pay the cash, but he still lets Sylvia go. Leon seems to be arresting Will, but Sylvia shoots him in the arm. Leon has no weapons, so Will gives him 2 hours of time so he can leave Dayton before he times out. Will and Sylvia get away in Leon's police car and steal a limo with it. Will tells her later that she can still leave the situation, but she says that her life in New Greenwich has no point anymore. They start a string of thefts from time banks, taking time capsules that keep time equivalents and giving them to poor people. For this, they get a 10-year bounty put on their heads. Fortis finds Will and Sylvia a second time in the end and challenges Will to a time fight. Will beats Fortis by using a move he learned from his late father. Will and Sylvia understand that their previous efforts were pointless because the rich can just raise the cost of living in the ghettos to keep things the same. They are able to steal 1,000,000 years from Weiss private offices in a time capsule. While they are doing this, Will tells Weiss that no one should be immortal if even one person has to die. Leon hits Will's car on the way back to Dayton, but Will is able to give the time capsule to a young girl, who then shares the time with everyone. Leon finally finds Will and Sylvia outside of the city and threatens them with a gun. After noticing that Leon acts differently than the other timekeepers, Will correctly thinks that Leon used to be from the ghettos but was able to get around the system. Will jokes that he needs Leon to return some of the time he lent him so that they can make it until their executions. But Leon learns that he forgot to recharge his own time before going after them and dies. Will and Sylvia will not make it much longer. Will takes his time as he runs to Leon's car. Will changes the time to Sylvia just seconds before she is about to die, just like he did with his mother. Will and Sylvia keep robbing banks to try to bring down the system, even though there is now a $100 million reward on their heads. Meanwhile, the rich are trying to deal with the sudden influx of people from the ghettos who have time to change time zones. The buildings where Will used to work are no longer in use, as shown on the news. The people who keep track of time watch as factory workers cross time zones. Will and Sylvia are getting ready to rob an obscenely large time bank and keep messing with the system in the last scene.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe button to my channel to see more videos like this.